Hey guys, so the Senate majority will be decided in just 2 days. These two undecided seats in the state of Georgia will decide the makeup of the United States Senate after 2021. And these two races were races that the Republicans came in with an overwhelming advantage in. But right now, the Democrats, I think it is currently their race to lose. It is currently the Democratic Party's race to lose in the state of Georgia because they are just doing so well. You know, all the new numbers, the polling, the betting odds, the early voting numbers, they all favor the Democratic Party. Everything that's come out in the last couple of days points to a Democratic win in both of these seats. Now, I'll be making my final prediction tomorrow, so make sure you check that out. Not something I'm too excited to doing because this race is definitely close. It could still definitely sway to the Republican Party, but we'll see about that. Make sure you join my Discord server if you have not. If we could hit 2,000 members again, that would be absolutely amazing. I also do have channel memberships, the whole video talking about that. So just click on that blue join button if you are interested in gaining some extra perks for 99 cents a month. So the latest polls do show that Jon Ossoff leads by 1.8% over David Perdue, and Raphael Warnock leads by 2.2%. So they're runoffs because no candidate was able to reach 50% in the general election for the Senate. Perdue, 49.7%. He was pretty close, but this does show that there are a lot of Republicans and a lot of people in the state of Georgia in general that do not like David Perdue. I mean, obviously, but the Republicans, if David Perdue won the same amount of votes that congressional Republicans won, he would have gotten to 50%. Because congressional Republicans won 2.49 million votes. He won 2.462. So if he had won those extra 28,000 votes, he would have hit 50%. But there is quite a bit of opposition, against him in the state of Georgia, which is why this race went to a runoff. And I think that this just shows that Georgia has rejected David Perdue, and I think that Jon Ossoff definitely has a very good chance of winning this race right now. I'll explain more later, but these polls, not the best for the Democrats. I mean, I think that leading the polls is definitely not a bad thing, but these numbers, they are all right for Democrats. I would be shocked if they were down because the polls, they still do benefit the Democrats a little bit. However, in Georgia, as I've shown in the last couple of days, the polls are more accurate in the state of Georgia. So Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock do have a larger lead than Joe Biden did in this race before the 2020 general election. However, there were also more polls, so it was more accurate what the averages were. Right now, there have barely been any because many pollsters, it's a very high risk, low reward if they get it right. So they don't want to get these wrong. So that's why a lot of those big pollsters are not doing it. We do have Survey USA who's doing it, an A-rated pollster. Emerson did it as well. Trafalgar as well. They have Ossoff +3 and Warnock +1, which is very bad if Trafalgar Group is saying that Democrats are going to win. You have these three latest polls: Ossoff +8, 3 and 4, Warnock +9, 2 and 4. So I think that this is good that they're leading. If they were losing, I would say Republicans win these two races. The Democrats have to be leading the polls, and they are, and they're doing that. And 1.8% to 2.2%, I think that is a little bit larger than the 0.6 that we saw, because at that point I would have said it was just a tie. But at 2.2%, I think that these two Democratic candidates definitely do have the clear advantage. However, that is very slight, and turnout will definitely have a big effect on what happens. I mean, this race is a race all about turnout. 3 million people have already voted. It is not going to hit the 4.9 million that we saw in the general election. And these Senate numbers, they show the race was very close, and both candidates have enough voters. They just need to get them to vote for them again in the runoff. That's what they need. They did not really need to flip voters. That would be good for, the candidates if they could. But they do not need to flip any voters. They just need to get those voters to vote for them again. So, the latest betting odds, these are updating all the time. We have Raphael Warnock at 60 cents per share to Kelly Loeffler at 43. Now, I recorded this video a couple times already because I kept messing up. But the numbers are not this high just a couple of minutes ago. I can reload it right now. We might see a change. Yeah, we don't. So Kelly Loeffler went up by 1 cent. This all changes in real time. But Raphael Warnock has now hit 60 cents per share in the betting odds. And you see, this is surprising because throughout the entire election cycle, you can take a look at the polls. Raphael Warnock led by 3% on November 30th. If you look at the betting odds on November 30th, it was not that good. Loeffler was still at 64 cents per share, Warnock at 37. but now Warnock is up 2.2%. He has the momentum. The early voting numbers are in favor of the Democratic Party, and he is now at, he was at 57 yesterday. He is now at 60 cents per share for, to bet for him in this race. Kelly Loeffler at 44 cents per share. That's basically a 60% and 44% chance of winning, but it is a little bit over 100. Now, what will be even more shocking is between Ossoff and Perdue. Right now, Ossoff and Perdue are tied in the betting odds. When I recorded this last time, it was... Okay, well, now Ossoff is at 53 cents per share and David Perdue 51. The first time I recorded this, David Perdue was still leading by 2 cents a share. But right now, Jon Ossoff has officially taken the lead in the betting odds for the first time since since October 30th. Jon Ossoff has never been expected to win this race, except for that one day on the 30th of October. He went down all the way to 1 cent per share when, on election day, when it seemed as if David Perdue would be able to get over 50%, but the day after, he did not, and his numbers went all the way up to 80 when the runoffs were declared. However, now, he has taken the lead over David Perdue in the runoff, and David Perdue is in quarantine right now. We can reload again. We'll see if there's any changes. Okay, no. So Ossoff has gained 6 cents just today. David Perdue down 5. So these numbers are very, very good for the Democratic Party. They should be very happy about this. This is the state of Georgia, a state that has been red for decades. And so right now, these numbers, we'll take a look at them at the end of this video just to see if they change again. But Ossoff and Warnock now lead in the betting odds for the Georgia Senate runoffs. And I think that this is definitely worrying for the Republicans. They should be worried. We can reload this again to see if we have... Okay, well, now Ossoff is, not Ossoff, but now Warnock has gone down 2 cents a share, but really this is all going to go up and down throughout the day. So I'll report on this tomorrow when I make my final prediction, but I have also done some math for the congressional district. So this is the congressional vote, the early voting. These are basically finalized numbers. For the early voting, we did see it go up a little bit, 30,000. It was 3.002 million yesterday. Now it's 3.032, but that's just some votes that they didn't count for last time, but these are basically the final numbers, around 3 million early votes in the state of Georgia, but 4 congressional districts. So what I did is I used the House results per district and multiplied it by the turnout here. Now, this is going to benefit the Republicans because more Democrats vote early, and it's not going to be as much of a difference as we saw in the general election. So we're not going to see as much of a red mirage as we did, but it is going to benefit the Republicans slightly. Now, the reason why this is going to be not that inaccurate is because all of these districts, there were 2.49 million votes for the Republicans on the ticket, and there were 2.393 million for Democrats. So that's 2.393 for Democrats and 2.490 for the Republicans. If we take a look at the Senate map between Perdue and Ossoff, Perdue won 2.462, which is around 20,000 votes off. Jon Ossoff 2.374, which is around 20,000 votes off as well. So it's off by a tiny bit, but really it's not that significant, and in a race like this, that is going to be a very small amount. So these are just estimates, these are just rough numbers, but I think they should give a pretty good picture as to who is leading right now. It is the Democrats, but they're leading by a larger margin than I will say because more Democrats vote early. So in the first district, with 183,000 votes, 76,000 for Democrats right now to 107 for the Republicans. The second district, 97,000 for Democrats to 67,000 for Republicans. So this is a Democratic district. The third district is Republican. We have 74K for Democrats, 138 for Republicans. I'm trying to go through this as fast as I can. The 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th district, these are the largest district with the highest turnout, and they are Democratic districts. Democrats won 200,000 votes from the 4th district, 216,000 from the 5th district. There were 254,000 votes, and Democrats won 216,000 of them, and this is the largest district. The 6th district, 143,000 for the Democrats. The 7th district, 122,000. Now, Republicans, they won 117,000. So these districts from here on, except for the 13th, Republicans won. So they won 117 in the 8th, 176 in the 9th, 146 in the 10th. In the 11th district, they won 137. In the 12th district, 103. The 13th district, out of the 250,000 votes, Democrats won 193,000, and the 14th district, Republicans won with 125. So if you were to add all of those numbers up, you have Democrats winning 1,532,341 votes, so 1.532 million. For the Republicans, you have 1,499,545 votes. That comes out to a 32,796 vote difference, and 50.54% for Jon Ossoff and 49.46% for David Perdue. Now, the numbers are higher for the Democrats than what I just said because more Democrats vote early. That is going to happen. So Republicans need to gain a little bit more ground than what I just said. Now, Raphael Warnock, I fully expect him to do better than than Jon Ossoff. So I think that Raphael Warnock is going to have a larger margin than Jon Ossoff. So he's doing even better than Jon Ossoff. And if we were to take a look at the district numbers, more specifically, if we can actually see them. Yeah, so if we were to take a look at the 5th district, this is the largest district, and you can see why the Democrats are winning. 46% of the voters are black, 37.7% are white, and these are white voters in the city of Atlanta, so they are still more liberal than many other voters, 2.2% Hispanic and 2.4% Asian. By gender, 56.1% female, so that will benefit the Democrats, to 43.7% male. By age, you also see a lot of younger voters. This is what I think is good for the Democrats, is that throughout the state, there is of course higher turnout from older voters, but in these more urban areas, there's pretty high turnout from the young vote. 15.6% for 18 to 29, that is pretty high. You have 12,000 voters who did not vote in the 2020 general election, but did vote in the runoffs. So that will benefit the Democrats. A lot of them are young. They are in the 5th district, so obviously they would benefit the Democratic Party. So this is just the numbers specifically for the 5th district I wanted to take a look at. So these numbers right here benefit the Democrats. The betting odds benefit them as well. And the early voting numbers, 39.2% of turnout, around 4 million people, almost exactly, voted early in the 2020 general election. So it's 1 million off, and that is because of the Christmas holiday. The amount of gains that occurred per day were basically the same in the early vote. It was the Christmas holiday that kind of made that go a little bit lower than the 4 million. I think we might see 3.6, 3.7 at best, in person, votes total, so 600 through 700,000 people voting on election day on the 5th. We might even see lower, 300,000 to 500,000, but it's not going to be 900,000. That is not going to happen. We're not going to see 3.9 million people vote. That would tie the 2008 record previously before the 2020 election for turnout in Georgia in the general election. So it's not going to go to 3.9 million. It might go to 3.6, 3.7. That would be good for the Republicans. The lower the turnout on election day, the better for Democrats. So it is a Tuesday, and it's kind of more of a random day. It's really not that special, and a lot of people just aren't going to be able to vote. So I think that the numbers right now, they are good enough for Democrats to win, but they are also not that good that Republicans can also win. So I'll make my final prediction tomorrow, but we have 170,000 voters who did not vote in the 2020 general election that did vote in the runoff. So the people of Georgia, they know how important this race is, and they know that the Senate majority, lies entirely in their hands. And whether or not the entire American people, the entire public, gets those $2,000 checks also rests on the voters in Georgia. And I think that they know that, and they want those checks. You can have, some family that would typically vote Republican in Georgia, but they need those checks, so they are going to vote for Ossoff and Warnock because they will be able to get it done. If Democrats control the Senate, they will get the $2,000 stimulus checks. They've been trying to get it for a very long time, and it's been blocked over and over again by Mitch McConnell and the Republicans, including David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler. They do not want checks, okay? They are saying that they want it because they're just states away from an election. But every other time, they have voted against these stimulus checks, basically almost every single time. They do not want these stimulus checks, and I think that the people of Georgia are going to be able to see through them. And David Perdue, who is in quarantine right now, will not be able to campaign, which sucks for him. But we have Democrats, we have Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Barack Obama, Stacey Abrams, all coming out in the final days to campaign for Ossoff and Warnock. So I really think that the Democrats have a very good chance here against what Chuck Schumer thinks. Apparently he is not too optimistic about it, but I think that Democrats should be very happy about where they're at. Even if they lose the race, I think that they have done pretty good considering that it is the state of Georgia. Now that'll basically wrap up this video. Basically, I will be making my predictions tomorrow and taking a look at the final numbers, final polling numbers, final betting odds numbers. I might make a video on the 5th and I might stream. I'm still thinking about that, but these are basically the final numbers, I guess, for a lot of the things, especially the polls and the early voting. And so yeah, let's take a look at the betting odds. Also, comment down below whether or not you want me to stream, whether or not you would watch that on the 5th. I'm really not too sure about it. But the numbers for the betting odds, okay, it's now 52-51. It's going to continuously go up and down. So, you check out the betting odds when you're watching this video. It's going to be different from what it is now if you're watching it a little bit later. And then for the regular race, I do expect Democrats to go down a little bit because they did go up quite a bit. But I think that Warnock 58, Ossoff 52. I think these are very good numbers that the Democratic Party should be very happy about. So that'll be it for this video. Make sure you check out my channel memberships if you're interested in getting some extra perks for less than $1 a month, as well as joining my Discord server, the link to which is at the very top of the description below. We have quite a few events on there for the Georgia runoffs, and if we could hit 2,000 members again, that would be absolutely amazing. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below who you think is going to win this race, and if you want me to stream on the 5th, if you would personally watch that. Subscribe to my channel if you have not for more daily political content, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.